a lot of people who will watch this particular episode, even in their religious beliefs, will relate to the fact that sometimes they wake up with question marks and then they feel guilty because they were taught don't question, just follow. You can't be like sheep. Whatever is telling you to question means that your higher self is actually telling you that there's more to your existence. Discover it. So when I did my Akashic Records this year, many things were confirmed. One is that I've always known that we're in a universe, and we're in a multi-universe with a lot of existence of even other planetary systems, other beings. It was confirmed when I was a kid. I actually used to see other beings, but because I was a kid, I didn't know how to share that with people, and I thought like they were my secret friend. I remember I've had many what I thought were dreams or realities of past lives.
Wow.
For example, I could see myself flying, and I thought to myself, hold on, is it because I watched Superman in the 70s or in the 80s? And I was like, no. But the reason why I watched things like Star Trek, Star Wars, beyond the movie, beyond the fiction of the movie, I knew this is real in other dimensions. And deja vu was, for me, was the way I know my name, the way I know I breathe.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear listeners and viewers. We're back for yet another episode of Beautyless Podcast with me, Miriam Rose, and today I'm joined by a spectacular guest, Maurice Matheka. I will allow him to introduce himself for the people who don't already know him. And then we can talk about spirituality other than that other side of Maurice.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. My name is Maurice Matheka. I'm a sexologist, have been for the last 23 years. I deal with human sexuality with both men and women and couples, but especially most of my clients are women because I'm known as you call me, the vagina whisperer, because I know how to condition a woman's vagina so that she can start owning her ability to orgasm.
Yeah.
But today, we're here to discuss another journey, my journey of spirituality, which I've known for a very long time. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for... So how we actually started this journey was in an event we both attended, and he was talking about the Akashic Records, which we will keep exploring in some of the episodes. But maybe we could start there before I ask you how you were born into a Christian family and all that. Tell us about the Akashic Records. Where were you coming from with that conversation?
It's probably something that I should have done a very long time, but because we're all born into a religion, and I was born into being a Roman Catholic, but to be honest, I never used to go to church to pray. I did it because it's something that people did. I didn't mock it, but I always knew there was something else disturbing me. There was something more. There was another connection with us humans beyond the limited scope of what religion teaches you. And one thing I was very against is religion teaches you how to fear things. And I thought to myself, how can fear be the one thing that accommodates our soul, our minds, our day-to-day? Fear this, fear that, fear saying this, fear doing that. And I thought, no, there's something really wrong here. So when I did my Akashic Records this year, many things were confirmed. One is that I've always known that we're in a universe, and we're in a multi-universe with a lot of existence of even other planetary systems, other beings. It was confirmed when I was a kid. I actually used to see other beings, but because I was a kid, I, I didn't know how to share that with people, and I thought like they were my secret friend. Now, for those who are not allowed to believe in the system, they're like, oh, this guy's cuckoo, he must be on some drug. And you know what? Yeah, I'm on the drug of the universe. I'm in the existence of my reality. And I didn't share. Now I can share as a grown-up. I didn't share that even I was told there's a reason why I didn't like playing with other kids. Like I'd play with them in terms of riding a bike and stuff like that, climbing trees and stuff. But if I was just managing my toys, I'd go into my little universe. There's a way I wanted it to play out, whereas other kids were just like they'll do random things that didn't make sense. Whereas for me, I was very systematic. But then I also had these, they're not even visions, but I knew there were other beings around me. And I remember I've had many, what I thought were dreams, were realities of past lives.
Wow.
For example, I could see myself flying. And I thought to myself, hold on, is it because I watched Superman in the 70s or in the 80s? And I was like, no. But the reason why I watched things like Star Trek, Star Wars, beyond the movie, beyond the fiction of the movie, I knew this is real in other dimensions. And deja vu was, for me, was the way I know my name, the way I know I breathe. I could go into a room and 5 seconds, I could tell you who's coming through that door, or who's going to say something, who's going to do something, because I'd been there before.
Wow, that's like the multiverse.
Yeah, but yes, but because we're taught, because and funny enough, even when there was no internet, I still would research on dreams. Then because they didn't know any better, they'd say dreams are just, they only last for 3 seconds or a second, and sometimes dreams are of the things we fear, or you dreamt of a ghost, but it was not a ghost. It was actually other beings trying to communicate with me. But because I've been drilled with this fear factor, I didn't accept them for who they were. I thought because I cannot explain who they were. And as you know, when you come from a religious background, you're told that anything that cannot be explained is the devil.
Yeah.
But I never believed that. That's the thing. I was never afraid because I thought it was the devil. I was only afraid because I could not explain why it manifested all the time. It wasn't once in a while. I could tell there were entities watching me, but I could see them, but I couldn't see them. But what I have done is I've seen shadows, I've seen like orbs, I've always seen orbs around me. I've always seen, and this is a funny thing, I've always seen orbs in, and I'm sure some people who are watching this will relate. When you take a video of a party or anything, especially when we're kids, you take like a video or whatever. When you start playing it back, if you're very keen, you'll start to see orbs all over, or even in pictures.
Yeah,
I mean, back then we process them in films,
yeah,
and you'd see orbs. Now, some people will be like, "Oh, that must be something wrong with the lens or the way it was processed. Something happened to the picture." But now I know those were orbs. But as a young kid, as young as 3, 4 years old, I knew that those were entities, but I didn't know how to explain them. I knew something was trying to communicate with me. But now, as an adult, most of those things were confirmed in the Akashic Records. Even my ability to read people. I've always had a thing, like I can read somebody who has bad intentions, but I thought I was just good at guessing. And then I realized I can't be that good at guessing. It's just, I just have the power to be able to read people. And when it came to what I do now as a sexologist, I was told it's not by chance. I have the spirit of wanting to help. It just happens that I'm very in touch with my feminine side. And that's why I chose the female anatomy opposed to my own anatomy. I know my anatomy, but my passion was towards the female anatomy. Now, in modern world, we sexualize them. Oh, you just must be a pervert. Oh, you just like women. Like, oh, no, if it was just like, then I'd have been bored of it at some point because it's 23 years. And today, I still feel every day I meet a client, it's like I've never met a client before. And there's the passion of, I want to help her and I want her to be able to give me feedback later on and tell me, you changed my sex life for the better. That's my driving force. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I've always had that. It's only now that I can translate why I've always been interested in the female anatomy, understanding the female anatomy. And as one person said, men who are very in touch with their female side can be far more masculine than those who are not. First and foremost, we come from a woman. We come from a womb.
Yeah.
We've been in a woman for 9 months. Even before that, we had a contract to come on this planet to have certain things we're going to do. And the vessel that was going to bring us into this world was a woman.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, how come when we're in the womb, we're in water, surrounded by water, and at some point we breathe, correct? And then you find when you're born, when you're a certain age, if you're dipped in water, chances of you dying are also less, correct?
Yeah, I see babies in
Yes,
schools all the time.
but as you grow older, we tend to forget how we did that as kids. And now, because we can't do it, we go into drowning. But then you find people in Indonesia who can stay in water for half an hour, 40 minutes. How is that possible? Yes, there's lung capacity, but there must be something about us that has just been closed off, that we used to have those, we could harness those powers and those abilities, but now we can't. So I've always been amazingly fascinated by so many things, but I'm glad I did the records because they taught me about the fact that I lived past lives, and sometimes at a certain age is when you start, your vibration wants to, like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, for example, I was told that at some point I'm going to be somewhere in the coast helping more women, more girls. I'm not questioning it. I don't know how, but it's going to happen.
Interesting. For those who don't know, what are Akashic Records?
They are a record or a library of things that have past lives, and also things that are yet to come. And they also teach you about your vibration, things that may be disturbing you, and you're getting this information through somebody who can channel, and they're channeling your guides and your higher self. I also learned that there is a young version of me, probably about 4 or 5, that the person who was channeling spoke to me when I was 5. Like
so they were one of your
like they're talking. Yes, they're one of my guides.
In the future, in the past.
Yes, and when we started opening my Akashic Records, my young self was not happy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was literally in a corner. Why? Because I'd not allowed myself to graduate to where I am today, to speak the way I am. Yes, I speak very confidently about sexuality.
But you are 4.
Sorry?
You are 4 years.
No. It's not, no. They're not happy because I have been holding this back for a while.
Okay.
What I should have done is probably 10, 15 years ago is when I should have been having this conversation. But I've been holding it back. And with me holding it back, there are many internal issues that I may have had with my body, but it was just my body fighting me back, telling me this. Yes, like for example, I was told I have a lot of had a lot of trapped energy because I was not telling my truth, my real truth. Yes, I was talking about a topic I love, which is the female body, but I was also not talking about my spiritual side.
Yay.
What we're discussing
and that
now.
makes sense how we met and we just, wow.
Do you see?
Yeah.
But you see, I've known this for over 10 years. I've known it for quite a while. Actually, I mentioned that I had a crazy pain on this side here. And I asked my healer, what what was that pain about? And she told me that that pain did not come from your physical, it came from the energy that you were not releasing. And that energy has been trapped for a very long time. And also, even in my own career, as controversial as people say I am, apparently I'm only using probably 30% of my truth.
Of your controversy.
Yes. Mainly because I try and make my information palatable to everybody, but I'll still stop doing that. I'm not afraid to offend, but I just want, I'm a believer of, I'd like all humans to be in a place where we can all get along, but we don't live in that world. I know it, but my being thinks that world, that utopia world can exist. So I was told, look, just tell it as it is. You're going to piss off a few people, but you're going to make a lot of other people happy because they need to hear this message. For example, there are people who are going to watch this who are definitely not believers. They're going to think you and I are a bit cuckoos. But there's somebody else who's thinking, wow, that's my tribe. I thought I was going nuts. I thought I was seeing other beings. Actually, it's funny enough, we were at my friend's place just the other day. This is a guy I've known for quite a while. I just happened to mention my spirituality. And the guy was like, you're joking. This is, okay, I'm not, he's one of those friends I never thought would have this conversation. Not because he's religious. There's just somebody you're thinking, if we had this conversation, if you leave them, they're probably going to say, God, I think I need to take that guy to a psychologist. The guy literally said that sometimes he could just be chilling or in bed. His body freezes and he goes into a different dimension where he can see us, but we can't see him.
Oh God, wow.
And he's trying to go like, hey, I'm here. And when he can see us talking, and we're somewhere else, we could be in the coast, but he's there. He can see me talking. And he's like, hey, Maurice, I'm here. I can't see him. Yet he's 400 kilometers away.
In bed.
Yes.
Wow.
And he said he did not explain, and it's happened to him so many times. Even at some point, before he kind of knew what was going on, he thought he was dying. He thought he had left his body and he's dead. But he has that capacity to be able to travel somewhere else, see people,
Wow.
and then come back into his body. And he was telling me, I was like, dude, wow. Like, everybody's vibration is being heightened, and people are getting a bit more courageous to talk about their experiences, because these are our experiences. Whether somebody believes in them or not, that's besides the point. That's my experience. You can't take that away from me. It's like if somebody shoved a gun in your face. I can't be going like, nah, you must have taken drugs. You saw a gun next to your face. Who am I to say you didn't?
Yeah, that's true. Did you ever lose these abilities? You see, there's this belief
Right.
that kids have these abilities. Most people have had these abilities when they were younger.
Yeah.
And around the age of 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
going on, they lose the ability. They
Yeah.
have to see the ops, to see the guides.
I never lost it.
And were they talking to you? And could you tell if they were evil spirits or good spirits?
Okay, funny enough, I've never thought of them as evil. I don't actually believe that there's such a thing as a devil or evil in the sense of there's some monsters out there that want to kill us. What I do know is there are entities out of all the entities around the world who may not want humans to progress. So when you talk of somebody being possessed, they're the ones who are able to kind of interfere with your spirit. That's what I believe. But I know that since I was a kid, even as I was growing up, the things I saw, there's a time I was going fishing very early in the morning, because that's another hobby of mine. And I remember I looked up and I saw a vessel. And I know it was a spaceship. Most people would be like, dude, you must have been very high. Yeah, all I did is wake up, shower, and go fishing.
How old were you?
Sorry?
How old?
That's not long ago. That was maybe in the last 12 years.
Okay.
And I keep looking up to see if I can see it again, because I know it was there, and it was side by side as I was going. It was literally just above me, and I looked up, and but something told me one look is enough.
Was it a disc? The way we see them in
Sorry?
movies. Was it a disc?
Yes, kind of, but more of like a diamond shape.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. But you see, I've seen them very often. I've seen things in the sky since I was a kid. I've seen things in the sky because we used to live in the coast. When we're driving, like for example, up country to Machakos or to Nairobi, when I just glance out, I could see something, or I can also see shapes that are specifically looking at me, and I know they're communicating with me. But I always thought, as you're told, oh, that's just your imagination, and it's influenced by all the movies that you watch. But I knew that was bollocks. I knew this was real. But now, after going through my Akashic Records, everything I was told was confirmed. Actually, now I can sense that my fear, my anxiety levels of just life have dropped. Today, I'm just able to say, this week's going to work out. You know, we're used to, for example, when you ask somebody, how was your day? Have you noticed how hard people find it to just say, my day was great, my day was good? They always start with, it wasn't bad. It was okay. It was not too bad. Why focus on bad? We've been taught not to think of great. We've been taught not to say, so are you good sexologist? No, I'm the greatest. Oh, he's a bragger.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you're good at something, I respect people who tell me, you know what, no one in this field is better than me. Kudos. I am not of the thought process of this person is showing off. Why have we been taught that scarcity is the mentality we should go with?
Could it have been the beings that give us that conditioning? Is that a thing?
Yes, it is a thing.
Okay, explain.
It is a thing. While people are watching a lot of things that just entertain them, and that's another thing. Entertainment has been created to lower our vibration. Hence why we're always fearful. Hence why if you watch most movies, it's about fear. You're always fearing the next scene. Fear. You're never happy unless you're watching a cartoon or something. You just know that the imagery is just giving you some vision of happiness. But there's always a sad moment. So we're told to wait for that sad moment. Right now, I'm just in a space where I'm able to say, today's going to be a good day. This week's going to be amazing. May all the streets that I'm passing through not have traffic. And it just happens. I don't question how. Most people have been told you have to question how. I stopped questioning. I just said I want this, and it happens. Even with my sessions, I used to spend money on social media, advertising, never got business. Today, I just tell the universe and my guides that this month, I want a lot of sessions. This month, I want a session from a woman from another country. And funny enough, I get a call from a woman who's in New Zealand who wants to come to Kenya, or she's in the UK, just somewhere, she's in South Africa, and she flies over and we have a session.
Nice.
Because I'm not questioning, I'm just telling my guides. Oh, and by the way, during the Akashic Records, my guides reminded me not to worship them. They said they're not gods. They're just my guides.
Oh, okay.
Literally, like I'm being told, we are not gods. We're just your guides. Don't worship us, just tell us what you want.
That's good. That's healthy. That's how you know they are real.
Yes.
So, who is your God? Okay, there's another question you skipped, but we'll go back to it.
No, go back to that question.
Okay.
Yes, go back to that question.
The question of where the scarcity comes from, whether beings are the ones who influence us.
Well, I've been doing a bit of research into people who channel, and what I've learned is there are rather beings or species that have been on this planet much longer than us. And during our creation, because we were created as a slave race, hence why we're always mining things, and we think, that is noble. You're mining minerals. But as you're mining that mineral, say mineral's killing you, and who gets rich? The person who is your boss, or the corporate industry that's going to make something out of this raw product. So we've always been slaves to something. But now what I've heard from a lot of channelers is those entities that enforce themselves on us because our vibrations are heightening, they're having to relinquish their hold. Like we're becoming stronger than them. And then we also have other entities that want to just drive us to the next level. Because we vibrate at what? It's third tier. So there are those who are on fourth, fifth, sixth. So we're just in a good place. And a lot of things will have to be dismantled. And I like the fact that between now and 2033, there's going to be a huge reveal in regards to like contact with other, what they call the celestial family. For those who may follow somebody like Bashar, and who is channeled by Daryl, and other channels, you get the information that there's something that is miraculously happening. And it's funny enough, it's starting from this year, 2025, in terms of changes, in terms of politics, in terms of our climate change. Yeah, and what people should know is climate change has been on this planet for millions of years. I mean, the planet is 4.3 billion years, from what we know. And what we call climate change now is not new to this world. And we also have to look at it this way. There were other civilizations on this planet way before us. We're just another. How we're going to end up, we'll only know. But what I'm looking forward to is that first contact with other beings. I'm welcoming it. Every day when I speak to my guides, I also welcome entities that would like to align with humanity, would like to see this planet flourish, and I'm welcoming it. I mean, it's not happened once, but there's once I remember I was in bed and I couldn't move my body, but I could see entities around me. The way I'm seeing
The
you.
orbs.
No, these were like full beings.
Like, how did they look? Green with large eyes.
No. They looked more like translucent, but you could see their beings, and they're around me, and I could tell one of them was holding around my abdomen. But the first time it happened, I tried to scream, but I couldn't. But I also noticed they were not there to harm me. So today, I want to see them. But I was told, or rather, they said, because I asked if they would come back, they said they'll come back, but not to soothe my ego.
Yeah.
You know, as humans, sometimes, which is true, we want entities to appear so that we can go and tell other people with an ego thing. And they won't do that. And that's why I'm very interested in doing the CE5 with a group, so that we can invite these entities, because we did it at home, as I told you, and it's basically a frequency that you play, a sound, and we played it for about an hour, and the dogs went apeshit. Like, I know my dogs. I know when my dogs are just barking at somebody who's passing next to the gate, but this one, the dogs went crazy. So I knew why, but I didn't actually know what we were going to see. So when we went outside the house, and funny enough, you are advised that they may not manifest when you have too many neighbors around. But if you're in an open field as a group or whatever, then it'll, but it just happened. And we went out there and we just saw a multitude of what we call spaceships. And we told each other, there's no way people are going to believe in this. Yes, we told people we knew that believe in the whole expansive universe and stuff like that, but it's not something that I would have just shared the way I'm sharing in this episode. But since my reading, I've learned that if I don't talk about this, then I'm not talking about my truth. I'm also helping somebody somewhere who was kind of trapped, or even more trapped than me. I was trapped not because I didn't believe in it. I was trapped because I was not talking about it.
Yeah.
So I want somebody else to think, you know what? Oh my God, I'm not alone. And there's a whole community. I was just telling her that we need to fill a room with 1,000 of us. And us is people who are aligned with the universe, people aligned with knowing that there's a multiverse there and there's so many energies that we're not aware of. I didn't even know that there's a group that deal with, as you were explaining, herbal medicine, and they're using angels to help them with the herbal medicine. But you see, most of these things are not new in Africa. They were just channeled out of us. They were just switched off. Do you see what I'm saying? For example, astronomy, astrology, Africans have been ahead of the Caucasians. Did you know that?
I'm smiling because I had an astrologer just yesterday seated where you're seated,
Yeah.
telling me about the African astrology has always been there since the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, Africans could calculate planetary systems accurately, back in the day, even when we didn't have technology like satellites. And this is something the Caucasians found in the 60s and 70s, but they did not accredit it to Africans.
Well, they never do.
Yeah, but it's because they had a mission, and the mission was to teach us that we are primitive, yet we're not. And Africans have always known, and what I call African is not even my grandfather. My grandfathers were born 1914, 1918. My grandfathers, I was lucky enough to know both of them. They're very British in their mentality. Why? Because they lived in a time when we were colonized. What I call African is not my grandfather. It's my grandfather's grandfather. Now that's the guy I would like to sit down with. And he tells me what Africans used to look like.
Yeah, actually.
Not the African who was tainted by the Muzungu narrative.
Or the ones we read in books, and there's so many distortions.
Yeah, but I do piss off people when I tell them, whichever tribe you're from in Kenya, what you call Kamba, Luo, Kikuyu, Luya, Giriama is a hint of what the Caucasian told you that your culture looks like. It's not the real culture.
Do you think we would ever, is there a chance, is there even benefit to going back? Or should we just keep going forward because we are getting this assistance to go back anyway, to go back inside anyway?
I don't call it going back. I call it reclaiming.
Okay.
We're just reclaiming our abilities. We're just reclaiming the fact that the Mugumo tree was used to, you can go and hug that tree and talk to that tree, and that tree has a lot of wisdom. It has a lot of spirit energy. But we kind of relinquish that, and those from certain religions will say, oh my God, he must be possessed by the devil. Why? Because anything out of the scope of what you were taught is wrong. And what I always ask is this, because I asked somebody who's pretty religious the other day, I asked him, you know what, I may be wrong, you may be right, but answer me this. Your belief system is not from your forefathers. Your belief system is from Caucasians who brought this religion here. Again, brought it here. They relinquished it. Why are you still holding on to it? It's like our phones. We're now digital, correct?
Yeah.
If I try to sell you an analog phone from 20 years ago, would you buy it? Would you buy it? So why are we still holding on that kabambe? That kabambe is our religion.
Yeah.
Our kabambe is our belief system that's causing us to have very low frequency, which means we're always going to have a scarcity mentality.
But I feel like I loved what you said about the entrapped energy in you.
Yes.
That pushed you. I wonder what pushed you to take the Akashic Records? Was it because you were feeling that entrapped energy? But what I wanted to say is I love that that's happening because ultimately this knowledge will have to come out of us regardless. So okay. That gives me hope that the kabambe, you can buy all the kabambes we want, but eventually, ultimately, inevitably, this knowledge will have to come out one way or another.
Yeah, but funny enough, a lot of people who will watch this particular episode, even in their religious beliefs, will relate to the fact that sometimes they wake up with question marks and then they feel guilty because they were taught don't question, just follow. You can't be like sheep. Whatever is telling you to question means that your higher self is actually telling you that there's more to your existence. Discover it. I mean, we were just having a conversation with somebody, and I told them, can you manifest money? He said, no, it's impossible. Now, when they say it's impossible, I told them, the only thing that's not possible now is for you to manifest anything because you've just said it's not possible.
That's a manifestation in itself.
Yeah. You've actually told the universe,
no money. Please.
Like, no money.
Yeah, I like that.
Why? Because they've been taught that for you to earn money, you must work a certain period, which is linear time, which in the universe does not exist. They don't believe that their value is more than the 30 Gs or the 50K or the 100K they get every month as a paycheck. They don't believe that they are their own boss. They don't believe that they have a self where you can say, by next month, I want 100 Gs. And how that works is, you could get 10 tomorrow. You could get another 20. Next month may not even work out. By the end of the other one, you've gotten more than the 100 that you wanted, or the 50 Gs that you wanted.
True.
It's because you lay the seed for the universe to start aligning things, but don't question. The minute you say, I want 50K, and then you have a frown on your face because you don't believe it's going to manifest, you've actually cancelled out your wish.
That's true. That's what the teachers of manifestation have taught through and through. But it is slow, but I think it's coming. That rise in consciousness is happening. If it happened for you, it's gonna happen for everyone else.
Yeah, but for me, it's been there for so long. It's now that I've agreed, I'm gonna let it out.
So for people who don't have those abilities that you had,
which abilities?
Like seeing. Well, only now when you say that you saw spaceships is when I'm thinking, I think what I also saw was, I've ever seen like twice.
Yeah.
And I was really young, and I was like, I saw something fly here. Yeah. And then one time it happened, we used to live in Machakos, by the way.
Okay.
Maybe that's where they used to always be. I was really young,
right,
in the early 90s.
Okay.
So it passed across and I saw it, and then I fainted. I didn't faint, I just fell asleep.
Yes.
And I woke up, I think at 4, so this was maybe at 11, and then at 4 in the evening. And I was sick, I had a fever, and I knew what I saw. And I wanted to tell my mom, so my mom comes from Machakos Girls. Okay. And she's wondering, I left you, okay, how is my baby sick? And I was like, should I tell her? Because I'm not sure, but I know. I actually did. I told her there's something that passed here, and after it passed, that's when I felt sick. Okay. But of course she thought I was a baby. So she pushed it off. I noticed she didn't pay heed, so I just let it go. So it's only now that you're talking about this that I realized I think I wasn't crazy. And also my dad has seen UFOs, and he's gonna really love this show because he's those people who have seen them, and he's seen a couple over a period of his lifetime. Right. And even him, he always needs a community to talk with, because his brothers are like, you're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm glad that you're sharing this because you are validating the rest of us. But now what I was headed to ask was the people who were not able to see this, just kawaida people, the miners that you're talking about. Right. We just go and mine gold and everything. Is there hope for them as well, what do you think?
There is, but from what I've heard, especially from a lot of channelers, is it's not for us to convince them. There'll be an awareness that's going to have come to them. How they handle it is now up to them. It's very unfortunate, but they have been given, if I may call it, I'll use the word disease, of blocking their true selves. And many of them have experienced what they would call scary dreams. But all they saw was what we saw. But their composition in the brain was different. Because you see, it's when you're brainwashing humans, there are those you're going to tell, whatever you see that's outside this realm, that is the devil. So they've probably told a friend, they had a very wicked, the devil is really trying to, you see? Now, it's not, yes, and it's not, it's, yeah, and that's the thing, your dad's brothers, it's not that they're not believers, they've literally seen what your dad has seen. But they just translated it as the devil. And they will never share. And that's why they'll probably tell you, oh, I spent hours in church because I had a very bad dream. And that dream was entities just trying to say, hey.
Communicate.
Yeah, but they did not see them as friendly. They saw them as foe. And that's what I've seen.
Did they ever give you like guidance on what to do at school because you were young?
Yeah.
Did they ever give you answers to your exams? What were they?
No.
Instrumental
They were instrumental in school. I was that kind of person who, if I wasn't interested in a subject, I'll never be good at it. Also, it's almost as if I knew what was going to happen later on. I always thought our education system was useless.
Bullshit.
No, like, because first I found it strange that we're being taught that some white dude came and discovered Lake Victoria. I was always wondering, what about the guys who lived around Lake Victoria?
I know.
Did they not have sight? Could they, even if they didn't have sight, did they not sense water around them? Like did they fish there? There's a guy who discovered this river. There's a guy who discovered this hill. What about the people who lived around it?
Yeah.
I always knew that we became slaves a very long time ago. So whenever we'd read stuff, and then why is it we're reading about history that does not guide me? It just tells me how some dude came here and then enslaved us. Some guy called Columbus. So Africans were not wise, yet astronomy and astrology was our thing. And it's already been proven that tribes, even in Kenya, are where a lot of the Mzungus who are now doing astrology, and very complex astrology was being done by Kenyans and people from around the planet back in the day, and the information is coming out today. Does that make sense?
The problem is just that it wasn't codified. What was codified or what was written down was the bullshit system. It's no one's fault.
No, it's not. I mean, I'm not blaming my teachers. I'm just blaming that somebody somewhere concocted a design of how to teach us things of no value, but how to teach us how to think a certain way. But you see, I always knew the Caucasian is not superior to us.
Yeah.
I always knew that. Always knew that. When I lived in Europe, I never looked at the white guy and thought, oh my God, you're superior to me. I always proved to them that no, whatever you can do, I can do better. First, I know your country better than you. When I lived in England, I knew England better than most English people. Why? Because they never moved away from their commune centers, because they have everything there. So when I tell somebody, oh, I've been to this city, this town, blah, 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 why would you go there? I'm thinking, to explore. Isn't this planet for exploring? It's like today, well, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, I was telling them, look, it's not your place as a woman to bear children. It's not your place as a woman to have kids, to be married. Yes, you can, but don't do it as a person who is basically following a conveyor belt. What I would really love is, whether you're a man or woman, I'd love the story of the way people say I'm taking a year out of school, not to booze, but to get a pack on and just travel Africa, get on a bus, get on a tuk-tuk, get on a border, and tell me I went to 6 different African countries. This was my budget. I didn't have to fly there, but with all the memes that got me there, when you come back, you'll be a totally different person.
True.
First, the things that you thought you need to take serious, you won't take them too serious. It's like humans have forgotten. We went through COVID. Remember when COVID hit, especially those people who are very structured. And I have a lot of clients who I have to break that. They're very structured. Everything has to be structured. COVID said, fuck your structure. True or false?
True.
You didn't go to work, but you ate. You didn't have to wake up at 4 or 5, but you ate. You didn't have to go to hundreds of meetings and stress yourself every day, but you ate. And then why is it most of us, especially in Africa, we all ran to our rural areas, unless you live there. We left the cities, we left the concrete. Why? Because the rural areas provided what? Food, fresh air, different, yes, and even animal systems started working. Birds that would migrate from one place to another because of our destructive nature were not doing it. But over COVID, even rivers had more fish suddenly because we were not overfishing. So one of the things that we need to do is we need to create a near utopia, because we're being told that there's scarcity in this world. But if we all aligned to, for example, I'm a big believer that there's no child in Kenya, if possible, no child in the world. But I live in Kenya right now. There's no child in Kenya that should sleep hungry. That is doable.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, but our politicians, because they've been hijacked by these entities that have been on this planet for billions of years, they don't think that way. Even the ones who had a conscious mind of what they wanted to do for humanity. I've met some of them and told me, once you join that club, you have to align to the club or you're removed. So they're aligned to their riches, they're aligned to their selfishness, they're aligned to not delivering to their promises. But if we all said enough is enough, kids in Kenya, kids around the world would not starve. I was shocked. This year I went to a food program in Athriva, at Athriva prisons. There's a school there, there's a food program and everything. And it's when I learned the budget to feed every child in Kenya is like what, 87, I can't remember the figure, but it's either 87 billion or something to feed every child in Kenya, make sure no child starves. But the government only gives like 3 billion. And I'm thinking to myself, considering we were told that we lose how many billions every day? 2 billion?
Yeah.
So are you trying to tell me if these idiots just stop stealing for a while and then feed the kids, then you can steal? You'd still have money, correct? It's like when Obama asked African leaders, how many homes can you live in? How many cars can you drive? How much money can you use? See, most of these guys, they die and they leave their kids or family fighting over the money.
But when you say that the politicians are possessed by
Yes.
these entities, does
Yes.
that mean they don't have free will? Because what you're saying sounds very simple. Anybody can do it because they have kids. But if they are possessed by these entities, then is it a lost? Is there hope?
No, there's hope.
Is there a lost cause?
There's hope,
for
but there's
them?
hope. But in my opinion, this is not something that I can prove, but it's something that I've probably seen enough times in my head, and I've heard people talk about it. Whether we like it or not, the system will have to change, because first contact is coming. First real contact is coming. Not just pockets of us seeing beings from other planetary systems. That contact, if humans, whether we like it or not, we need to be part of the planetary family. We need to align with that family.
Yeah.
Even, have you noticed in the last 80 years, the technologies that have come have been like that, have been crazy.
Yeah.
If you look at human existence and just the last 80, 50 years, technology has warped. Why has it warped?
They put it in the air and they've been giving it to us.
Yes, they've been giving it to us. But our advancements also come with the fact that we have entities here who are humans who are selfish.
Why can't there be benevolent humans who are not? And because honestly, I feel like this argument of aliens who are malevolent,
Yes.
seem to always win. And these others who are benevolent are always there saying, oh no, we can't interfere, it's their free will. And I'm like, nigga, please. Just come and do something. If these entities, the malevolent ones, are helping or influencing the politicians and all these people, the overlords, why can't you come and influence the other people to help themselves? You can't. You can't play fair.
True, but I think in the next 3 to 4 years, we're going to see a massive change.
Man, it better come.
No, it's going to come. It's already here. There's a reason why you and I are having this conversation, and the people that we see on YouTube having the same conversation. This conversation was not as heavy 5 years ago.
True.
Let's be honest. So it's accelerating because even the ones who are not true believers have a sense of something's changed. One thing I've noticed is whether you're a believer or not, everyone's able to say that our days are going faster, our months are going faster, our years are going faster. They can feel a vibration or a change, there's something happening. And all this aligns with the fact that whether we like it or not, in a few years to come, there is going to be that first contact. How we react to it is now up to us.
Fair enough. So there's something you mentioned about deities and, your guides not being God.
Yes.
We digressed from that. You can say a bit more about that and also tie that in with how your relationship with God is. Who is God to you?
Okay, what I've learned is God is us. We are God. We manifest things. We are creators. We align with the universe. I thank the universe every single day. I talk to the universe every single day. I've gotten to the point where I'm also talking to my higher self every single day. I'm talking to my organs. Look how crazy I sound. You're talking to your organs?
I talk to my organs.
Yes, but what surprises me is humans will be like, hold on, you talk to your organs? That sounds so idiotic. Well, what's idiotic is the fact that we've got a lot of idiots who live around us, who we talk to sometimes, whether we like it or not. So I'd rather talk to my organs, because guess what? My organs keep me alive. They keep me going. The idiot that I'm sparing minutes or hours with does nothing for me. They don't even feed me. So look what we've normalized versus what we're meant to be doing. So when I tell my guides to cleanse my mind, to cleanse my heart, to cleanse my lungs, to cleanse my nails, to give me better vision, I'm doing it because I'm being thankful of my existence. But if because us guys we like Mushane, if I said, oh, the other day I sat down with this guy and we spoke for an hour, and after an hour I concluded he was mad. Now that is acceptable to humans. Talking to a mad person, you're talking to a human. No, that's okay. You talk to your heart. Why would you do that? The other day, I had an ache with one of my legs. I went outside because I have my own compound, and I went to a tree. I hugged it, and I just told the tree to remove that ache from my leg. And within minutes, the ache went.
I have done exactly that.
I hugged the tree and I said thank you to the tree.
That is so cool, man. We should be friends. Because I went hiking some time back, and I think I sort of sprained my leg and it was really painful.
Yeah.
And I knew I'm a tree hugger. But this one time I just knew. I went home and went and put my leg against a tree and just asked it to take away the pain, and it actually went away.
Yeah.
And I went to tell my dad, and I told a couple of people, but not too many people because they won't believe me.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's my own experience. It's my leg. I don't even remember which leg it was because the pain went.
Yes.
And I thanked the tree.
Yeah.
It took my pain. That's so. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, but you see, another thing is this, and it's something I've said so often. Sometimes I'll remove my shoes and I'll walk outside barefooted. And somebody sees me and goes like, why are you barefooted? I'm thinking, hold on. We grew up playing barefooted. There's this, it's like being barefooted is primitive.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, when I'm barefooted, I'm one with the universe. I'm one with the earth. I've researched enough to know that every time we're wearing some rubber that's preventing us from touching the earth, we're actually preventing our own healing. We need to earth. You need to go to grass. You need to go on soil.
On
Even
soil.
take the soil and just, yes, and so even stones have an energy. But most people are all about sanitization. Oh, why would you be in soil? Oh, why would you play with mud? And I'm thinking to myself, our ancestors will look at you and say, you're so dumb. But I don't blame the person, because it's what we've been taught for so long. It's what we've been cultured to believe, that if you wear shoes, you're civilized. If you have socks, you're civilized. But if you're barefooted, you're not. Yet, today, when people have the money, there's a Caucasian who has a retreat in Africa, where you're paying thousands of dollars just to do what?
To step on grass.
To step on grass. How foolish can we be? In your shacks, in your rural areas, maybe if you've got a garden, if you live in the city, it's free. But you're telling somebody, oh, there's a retreat, I've paid $3,000, I'll be there for a week. They're going to teach us how to be one with grass.
Oh, man.
Apparently their grass is from, I don't know, Timbuktu or something. How stupid can we be? And then you're taught to wear robes. You're taught to minimize how much you're wearing so that your body can breathe. Yet when they came here, what did they tell us? That is primitive thinking.
We just need to reclaim this.
Yes, and that's why I say we're just reclaiming. Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
Yeah, we're not going back. We're just reclaiming. But you find in the reclaiming, we'll start living life to the fullest.
And eradicate all this disease.
Yes.
Because this is the cause of all that.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the sexuality, the spirituality of sex and
Okay.
sexuality.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I have a feeling now that you are very spiritual,
Right.
and you're in the path of the physical, there has to be some way they intertwine. So
Right.
please help us understand that, because sex is a taboo. Again, something we need to reclaim.
Yes.
I don't think.
But sex was not always taboo. Sex was
That's
made
what I'm
taboo
saying. That's what I'm saying.
by the missionaries who came
Of
here.
course. Yeah.
And then we stopped knowing how to even perform in missionary, if you see where I'm going with the story. You see? We became stagnant in many positions. We started demonizing sex. And then we were thrown something that sex does not need. And this is all this lovey-dovey crap. Yes, we should be loving beings, but the romanticized version of sex doesn't work. Because our anatomy does not know that. Our anatomy does not know that I just had lobster. I took you for lobster. And I brought you flowers, which means I kill flowers. I'm a flower murderer. Yes, you heard me. I do not respect people who kill flowers. We're here talking about hugging trees. The flowers deserve to live. And then what happens? Just to show you that you're a narcissist and a killer, you then take the flower, dry it between a book. How's long that been going on? I mean, books have not existed for that long. Now we're putting flowers in between to dry it as a sentimental value. You just killed the flower. How would you like to be dried and put in between a very big book? Exactly. So you see how I'm looking at it? So I just teach people that sexuality is about stimulus. If I tickle you, you're going to probably laugh. If I tickle you with too much pressure, it's painful. If I prick you, it's painful. That's how our anatomy works. It's about sensation. That's why even things like tantric sex was taught about energies.
Yes.
It's not about the boom, 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 boom that people think sex is. And to be honest, most people, if we were to look at, if I was going to judge people based on a vibration, I'd say most people are on a procreational.
True.
They're trying to capture some recreational thing, but they're on recreational. And procreational is just the fact that a man can get on top of a woman.
It's very animalistic.
Yes, yes, but it's all driven by the fact that the man can ejaculate, the woman cannot. And I'm talking about the woman cannot because it's not her default system. Can a woman achieve a vaginal ejaculation? Yes. At some point she can get a very massive spasm that causes her urethra to open, and that's what is called squirting. But most people They have sex because they think sex is for people who are in love and who are married, which is nonsensical.
I mean, maybe it's because of the theory of soul ties.
Yeah, but you do realize that, for example, when people ask me about soulmates, you can have multiple soulmates, not one.
But if you sleep with multiple people, you keep imbibing their energies into yourself as well.
Yeah, you can, but I've met people who met in campus and their energies are distraught. They've only known one person, but they're not aligned. In fact, they're very unhappy. Like they cringe when the other person touches them. And considering we are that couple, we've never had anybody else, we're not aligning. Yet, one of them is saying, there's somebody I met, and I couldn't help but smile. I felt like if we engage sexually, like this would be it. And they tried it, and they were like, oh my God, that's my soulmate. And it's all because the person you meet who caught you and you caught them, I saw you and I said, you know what? I'm now a mature man, and the conveyor belt is saying that I need to have kids. Who can bear kids? You. So I caught you. But have I courted other women? Is there a woman I slept with last week or a month ago? Yes, she's on my phone. But I've picked you as, I've seen, I think my mother will like your face. And if I was referred by somebody, hey, I heard you make chapels, me, I love chapels. Are you seeing why I'm marrying you? For all the fucking wrong reasons. Now, I have a low body count or none. You have a low body count or none. Do you think this is going to work out just because the romanticized version of how I hooked up with you is suddenly going to align us? No. I also find that some of these theories are driven by somebody's moral authority.
True. Mostly they are moral.
Yes, but morality has never produced good sex. It needs to be reviewed. And you see, it's not about, people need to understand, it's not about, also the opposite is, what he's saying is, we should just sleep with as many people as possible. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, don't allow yourself not to sample a pool to see what works or not. Because what I've seen is, and it's a manufactured way of how we start relating and end up being couples. Because of our morals or morality we've been taught, we end up picking the wrong person because we didn't sample. It's important to sample. It's important if I tell you that there is a restaurant called Kalamata, which is next to us, and they have a very nice seafood dish. Unless you taste it, will you ever know if it's good or not?
No.
If I tell you, oh, they have a nice steak that comes with rice, you have to taste it, correct?
It's debatable,
but no,
I get your point.
Yes, but no, there's no debating this. No, there's no debating because do you know what happens? You and I can stay friends for a very long time because friendship is not allowing us to get intimate.
Yeah.
So you and I can be friends. The problem is when you're able to say, Matheka's a good friend, he's amazing, when he talks, he just gels with me, and one day you and I get intimate. Then in the morning you're like, oh God, this guy is so bad. Now what's conflicting is my friendship and my ability to seduce your sexual body are not aligning. So now you're even thinking, how are we going to coexist? Like, because I've sampled him sexually, it may even affect the way I see him as a friend. Do you see? And that's what happens. If you and I were just to be a couple that did not have sex, this relationship can go on for 20, 30 years, no problem. It's when we start to taste each other, we realize that we don't align. It doesn't matter how much you love me, because I've heard this from women who are religious. Matheka, I married my husband and I made sure that I had a very low body count. If anything, he was the second guy. The first guy, I can't even remember what that guy did. So to me, my husband was the first guy. She married him in the 20s. Now she's in her 30s or 40s. Our sexual body is now matured. Our vagina is talking a different language. Now our vagina is saying, the way you consciously love this guy, us guys don't love him that way. And we've never loved him that way. We were in the bubble of lovey-dovey. I am meeting women who are paying me to tell me their truth today. They're the ones saying, if I knew this when I was in my 20s, they're not judging their 20s, I would have made different choices. Because I thought, because he's such a fascinating guy when I met him in my 20s, that he's still going to be fascinating when I'm in my 40s. But like, I don't even want the guy to touch me, but I love him. I wouldn't exchange him for anybody else. But right now, my quest for good sex is not going to come from him.
Does sex raise people's states of consciousness? Like maybe tantra? Or does it influence?
It does, but you see, it's a good question. I have taught couples tantric sex, but I can tell you that only probably 10% of them will get to the level where they're like, wow, now our sex life is another level. Because we stopped looking at sex as lovey-dovey. Now it's about the energies, the sensuality. Very few will get that. And that's why, because of this morality nonsense, you find people finding what they call their soulmate in the office. And then we start telling each other, where were you 10 years ago when I was getting married? But you see, it's happening now because the universe does not align on whether you're married or not. It doesn't know that. Those are our own squabbles. Those are our own human-made ideologies. The universe is now saying, it's time you met your sexual compatible. Yes. But now, because of all the other things our conscious mind knows, oh, I'm married to this person, blah, blah, blah. And it's not, and that's why what happens is our marriages also ruin things because of a psyche. You and I were very playful when you were, as Kenyans say, my girlfriend, my mama. But when you became mama, now you and I, all we're thinking about is bills. We don't even have kids. Bills, career, shamba business, but we have stopped flirting. We've stopped seducing each other. If I used to give you a massage, it's been a year since I gave you a massage. If I used to surprise you with certain things, not because I have to, because I want to. Now I do things because it's a chore. I have to remember your birthday. Whereas before I used to be delighted that we're going to be naughty that weekend, if it's on a weekend or whatever. Same with you see what I'm saying? So when our psyche changes, when it becomes a job, it starts to crucify our connection. So I have to teach people that sometimes your partner is not aligning with you because your frequencies have changed. And some people even say, now that I'm a grown-up, I mean, in my 20s I was not a grown-up, now I'm a grown-up, now I'm in my 40s, I'm talking about women, or even men. I've realized I've never aligned with my partner. They just ticked the right boxes when I needed marriage. The same way I meet men and say, you know what, I love my wife. My wife and I do not have, you see, people have this thing that they think I only meet people who are in trouble, people who don't like each other. No, I meet people who like each other. But I've met couples who have told me, I think we've not had sex for 5 years, but we are pals. And that is the problem. We got to the point where we friend-zoned each other. I can't get aroused, she can't get aroused. We've even tried flying thousands of miles away. We're overlooking a nice beach. And if you look down, you know, the water is green and blue and there's all these fish swimming around because we thought that would bring about this romantic. But we went to that place with the Kenyan mentality, with the human mentality of, this is my wife, this is my husband. So when I look at you, I don't look at ripping clothes off you. I just see a woman I respect, and vice versa. So how are we going to engage sexually? Yet, whether you like it or not, when we're on that beach, when we're at that poolside, some waiter looking like he's Spanish comes over, and suddenly there's a twitch between your legs. Even one of your nipples has become hard. You're wondering, God, why is my nipple being hard by this guy and not this guy? Because you're relating with him in a seductive way, whereas with me, we've forgotten to do that. And that's not because you're a bad person, it just happens.
do you think, from your experience and research,
Yes.
that the packaging of sex was completely different? Like, kuna box yake different from marriage, from every other thing. Kama vile kukula ni kukula. Like,
Yes,
kuna place yake, unaweza kulia
sex
nje,
was
unaweza
like,
kulia kwa nyumba, hivyo.
sex was like, if I took you to a Japanese restaurant just down the road here in Lamington, the experience of that food will be very different from if we went for nyamachoma. Both of them are good, but it's a different experience. Yeah, you eat shushami and raw fish, and I think it's just a different taste. Now the problem is, I'm trying to get all these tastes from one venue.
Yeah, exactly.
It's never going to happen.
It makes no sense. If you ask me.
It's like ice cream. Whichever flavor you like, if I told you you have to eat 1 liter of that tub every day for the rest of your life, would you like that ice cream?
No. I guess that's what they should use that example in marriage counseling.
Yeah, but marriage counseling is driven by religion.
That's sarcastic.
I know it's sarcastic, but it's good you mention that, because a lot of couples who come to see me, and I love this, I'm not their first choice. I never am, because I'm very unorthodox, I'm very non-religious. So a couple will be like, oh, we saw this pastor, or we saw this priest, or we were at Amani Center. And then I'm always happy that I was the last option. Because I'm the option that's going to work for you.
Yeah.
Today, I'm so glad that I had a client who came from Rwanda, I had a client who came all the way from the States, I had a client who came from Estonia, and another client who came from Australia. And I asked them, are there sexologists or sex therapists in your country? They're like, yeah, but they failed me. And then I found you, some African dude from Kilungu who has a very big mouth, but you seem to know what you're talking about. And I just said, you know what, it's worth the investment. And even my flight here is more expensive. And the fact that I have to stay here for a few nights than the session, but I value the fact that you know what you're talking about. That to me is the most amazing. You see, you cannot take that away from me. Like, let me tell you now, something I said when Facebook first came out. I think that was what, 2009, 2010. I posted this on Facebook. I said, one day I'm going to be an authority in sexuality.
Wow.
You can imagine how Kenyans responded. The comment area.
I can only.
Oh, there's one guy, he abused me in the comments. But you know what? I've always been that person who's like, you know what? One day you're gonna need me. And years later, I get a WhatsApp text from the guy. He goes like, I don't know if you remember me. I was like, I do, because I remember the name. He has one of those unique names. And he's like, hey dude, man, I've been listening to you and you've really helped my relationships. He doesn't even live here. But I remember his insults. Oh my God. And something just told me, you know what? All these guys were insulting me. At one point, they're going to need me. I now have to prove that I'm going to be that guy. It's one thing saying something, it's another delivering. So I don't dislike you for saying you're full of shit. Because now I've put myself in the spotlight. If I hadn't said anything, no one would be on my ass. But now that I've said something, and humans have to fight you first. Humans have to fight you. The ones who fight you become your biggest marketers. Because they're always waiting for your next video. And as they continue listening to you, they're like, man, this person has broken me down, and that's probably why I don't like them. And at some point, they are your most faithful, loyal followers. Because they came from a point of rubbish to fuck, okay.
Maybe. I guess.
I had that. Like, how the fuck do you? Yeah, like there's a guy, there's once he texted me and he said, hey dude, me, I don't know if it's Kamba or Chawi or shit. Like, you've broken down my life. And I told him, I've broken down your life because there's a way we've been taught to think life should go. versus what is really going to happen
Mm.
from the choices. Like when a guy tells you, how come I can't erect for my wife, but I get erections in places I'm not supposed to be erection. I think it's not about your erection, is your perception of your wife today is not about her femininity. She's a responsibility.
Mm.
That's why things have changed. And things have probably changed for her as well.
Mm.
Especially when she gets out of that lovey-dovey bubble when she's in her 20s. By the time she gets to 40s, she'll even change how she sees you because she's thinking, we've stopped that lustful energy. When we're talking about vibration, lustful energy has to exist. I need to flirt with you, and we need to not take, if we gain titles, we need not to take the titles too serious. Because the minute I only see you as Mrs., we're done for. When you see me as Matheka, Mr., then it doesn't, yes, or Baba, or like all, I've always been against those names. Like, if I hear somebody say, oh, you're Mama Tony, I'm like, oh, remove the Mama and remove the Tony. She has a name, call her by her name. I've had to tell couples, it's these little nicknames you've given each other. That's why you no longer lust for each other. When was the last time a man told other men, hey, I was with Mama Rachel, I was cool like that shit? Like, even men would be like, oh, no. Who? Because we've only had Rachel, and Rachel is the kid, so that entire conversation has gone south. You'd call her by her name. She's Stacy, but yes, she has 6 kids, but it's all about the kids. And that's why sometimes when men come and tell me, I was hoping my wife would not be hit on because we have 3 kids. I'm like, dude, you're the only person who sees her that way. All the other men see her as new pussy. Don't you see other women her age as new pussy? Do you ask them how many kids you have? No. How come you are able to sleep with a woman who's had 7 kids? You've only had 2, and you say that your wife's vagina has suddenly blown out of proportion and your penis cannot fit. It's not her vagina has changed. Her perception of her has changed, and that's why there's limited flow of blood to your penis. And that is fact. Most men don't know it, but they subconsciously know it. And when they start experiencing it, then they're like, oh, is that why when we're in Vasha and I'm with some mama, my penis usually looks bigger than usual? Yes. Because in Vasha 1, you're intoxicated by something. There's that mojo of fun. Of course, there's going to be a larger flow of blood towards your penis. That's why the girth looks bigger. But at home, why are you having sex? Because this is my mama. If I don't have sex with her 3 times, she'll think I'm fucking somebody in the office. Is that a reason to have sex? No.
Yeah.
The same happens to women. In the office, I was succulent and I was horny. But Maurice, when I got home, I just looked at that fucker and my vagina just shut down. I thought, yes, because your imagination, what we conjure up here, versus delivery are 2 different things. Yes, but I was manifesting towards my husband. No. You are manifesting towards your need for sex. Your mind somehow sugar-coated your husband to look more prettier. But when you saw him, you realized, this is the same bugger that I see every day. He leaves his socks everywhere.
Do you support polygamy and polyamory and just getting out of this box?
I support anything that makes a vagina happy.
Okay, so that's clear. That's evident.
Okay, I think Kenyans with polygamy, it's just an excuse to fuck multiple vaginas. No, most Kenyan men can't afford polygamy. Our grandfathers could because their form of wealth was very different. First, they had an abundance of land, they had an abundance of livestock. That's what today polygamy looks like. If you and I live in a certain area, my other wives should also live in that area. How many men can afford that? People are struggling with 2 incomes today. Now you have 2 other mamas who are also housing. Come on.
Okay, fine. Not polygamy, but would you excuse? Okay, you've already answered. Anything that makes the vagina happy?
No, as long as the vagina is happy, I'm good. Let's go with it.
When back to Kidogo spirituality, when people hear you worship, not worship, you don't worship your guides, that was clear. They guide you, but you consider yourself God and you thank the universe, right? Some people would label you as a new ager.
Right.
And it's recently been getting a really bad rap.
Mm-hmm.
And that might make, especially when you mentioned that you were Catholic and you left, and at what time did you move Catholic?
No, I was born a Roman Catholic, but do I look Roman and did I practice? Not really.
What did your parents say?
No, one thing I loved about my parents is they never forced you to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, you mentioned that. Now I understand why. My Akashic Records reveal that I am from a lineage of wizardry.
What?
Yeah.
Come back.
Like very old. Very, very old. And that my parents were part of that lineage. Both of them.
Interesting, you guys. What does wizardry mean? So that we're clear.
Seers, people who could see the future, people who believed in just doing good. You see, the one thing that the Caucasians did very well is they taught us that witchcraft, a witch did not mean negative. It was a person who was a healer, seer, somebody who could tell you about the future, somebody who could talk about rain and tomorrow it rains. So, and then the craft. So it's like when you tell somebody, oh, you're good at your craft, it could be anything, correct? Now they took that and they molded it and packaged it at witchcraft is evil. Yet it was the reason why we had fulfilled lives. It was the reason why our witchcraft engaged with these other entities that we talk about. But that was crucified. But you see, the same people who crucified it, like for example, the Vatican, they knew about
Yes, they do.
entities from other planetary systems.
Yeah.
But to control us, the congregation of Catholics, and this applying to other religions as well and denominations, they had to control us by saying this does not exist, yet they know it exists. Because then, if you don't do that, you can't have power over me. You only have power over me if you give me information that makes me a slave to you.
You can't give me information that will liberate me or my conscience.
No, because then, if you ever try and control me, I'll fight you easily with information of, hold on, you're not powerful. You're not as powerful as me. Or we're equals. They didn't want that.
It makes sense. Were your parents, do they have gifts as well? Or any other?
Well, both of them are not around anymore, but, and it's good you mentioned them because they came about in my reading. And they said that I should stop hoarding stuff. And guess what? I was actually calling myself a hoarder. So when I heard that, I knew that it's them who talk to me. And yeah, but you see, you need to understand where hoarding comes from. Like I've kept many pictures, I've kept even clothes because I didn't want to throw them or give them away.
Yeah.
And they made it very clear that whatever you think are our possessions, we left that planetary system with everything we need. So whatever you're holding on to, get rid of it. It's not giving you the energy you need. And because I've always wondered, because my mother passed on in 92, and then my dad passed on in 2014. And then we have, because of the way we have been taught, I always wondered, like, will their souls meet together? So I was pretty delighted to hear that they are one, but they told me, now live your life. Stop thinking about us. Stop thinking in the past. Stop thinking what could have been. Now that you are still that earthly being, do what you are purposed to do on earth. And that was very liberating to me because I was thinking like the things I wanted to say to my dad, I didn't tell him. He's more or less just telling me, dude, wake the fuck up. I'm good. Now do your part.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's, yeah, but we're not taught to think that way.
True.
We're taught to think because When my dad passed away, I am the one who found him. So I've always asked myself, did I tell him I love him enough? Did I tell him this? And now he's telling me, dude, me, I'm good. But you need to be better by stop thinking about the past and move forward. Start helping other souls in your existence.
Do your duty.
Yes. And that was amazing.
That's closure.
It is, it is.
That's beautiful.
It is. But what's hard is, I know where all the photos are. But it's very hard to give them away. It's even harder to put them in trash and throw them. So that's the only squabble I have. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So you still have them?
I have them. But I was told stop keeping them. Or I was told just keep one or two, but stop keeping all the photos that you have. It's not adding any value to you.
Yeah.
That was our time. This is your time. But we're there. And I should have mentioned this. I don't know how I forgot. When I was in the UK, we're talking about, this is well over 26 years ago, maybe. I called a medium. And back then, it was a telephone book. And I just closed my eyes, and I scrolled down, and I poked on a name. And I opened, and there was a name, and there was a number. Yeah? And I called it. And I said, come to my house. They said, fine, don't tell me anything about you. And because they're from the spiritualist church, you don't pay them, but you can give them a token.
Energy exchange.
Yeah. So came over, got in, and they just took my hand like this. They said, yeah, just took my hand. And they looked at me. Wow. Wow. Okay, then I was not ready like I am now. They said, she wants you to know that that day when you saw her, you did see her, you were not mad. When my mother passed away, when I was in my room, I saw her literally like where this plant is. And I knew it was her. But coming from the religious way of thinking, I was like,
My imagination.
my imagination. But she said, she wants you to know that yes, you saw her that day. You're not mad. I was like, what? And then they described my relatives in ways, unless you knew them, you would not like. And I was just, oh my God. And this tall figure, but now, when I call, they said, you want to talk to your mother, but she said right now she's not ready. But she's here. She's at the back. But you've got all these other guides who are there, and they're always there for you. So I guess, even from back then, when I was still a student in the UK, my guides were trying to tell me that this is you, like connect with us.
Yeah. Connect with who you really are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, for a student who is abroad to think of calling a medium, it's not normal. It's not what people consider normal. But I still wanted to do that. I'll be in a room and I can sense the entities in that room. And I didn't know whether talking to them and they're not going to talk back would sound crazy. But these are all questions I've asked myself for so long. But now, going back to what you said, like when I was kids, it was confirmed that I used to talk to, beings from other planetary systems. So somewhere along the line, as we get older, we start disconnecting.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I was talking about now the 5-year-old of higher self of me, as we were doing the sessions, I was told now that 5-year-old you is happier. He's happier. But he was sad because you had not opened yourself to this. This is it has been your reality. Everything else you do is you trying to hide from this is your path. And I've always known it, but I just didn't know how to translate it. And before I met the healer who's in Kenya, I was dealing with one who is in the States, and we used to do like Zoom calls. Yeah, but then what I got from the Kenyan one, and that's why, and funny enough, it's like the universe and my guides wanted me to know something. The one in the States is really known worldwide. Yeah, her name is Candy Silvers. She has thousands of clients, like there must be hundreds of thousands. She's really known. But there's something she said in one of her sessions. She said she's been to Africa, she's been to Kenya, and the healers in Kenya are very powerful.
I've heard that from you.
She said that.
Wow.
She said healers in Kenya are very powerful. You see the way I've got
I've got
goosebumps?
goosebumps as well.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa! She is renowned in the world. Because I met her on Gaia. I used to subscribe to Gaia.
Yeah.
And that's where I saw her talking to, I can't remember his name. And then I subscribed to her. And I did quite a number of sessions over the last 2 years. Then she mentioned how I've been to many parts of the world, but when I was in Kenya, I met really powerful healers. And I was like, whoa, I need to find Kenyan healers. I really do. And then when I did find one, and she's based in Kisumu, when we had our session, like the power I felt, it was much stronger. I literally felt like my guides, because she told me, I'm going to leave your Akashic Records open now. I'll be talking to your guides. Just talk to them. They're your buddies. Just talk to them. Talk to your organs. Just talk to your surrounding. And then something told me, just talk to the tree. Hug the tree. Tell the tree you want this pain gone. Certain things. And then now, because I always wanted, I've been doing it, but people always question me. Now I intentionally just walk around barefoot. Intentionally.
That's so cool. One of the ladies, the ones for Mother Earth,
yes.
was telling me about, who are plant medicine.
Yeah.
One of them was actually walking barefoot. And I was like, is it me or she's barefoot? She was like, no, I do this intentionally to connect to Mother Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should do that more often.
Definitely.
Yeah. Did I tell you I'm a water spirit?
No.
I was told that the reason why I love water, I am at my calmest next to water. And it's the reason why I fell in love with fishing. My dad took me fishing when I was about 4 or 5 years old, and then I fell in love with it. But I realized beyond the fishing, for example, I can fish for 8 hours straight. 8 hours. But I realized beyond the catching fish, I can stay there whether I catch something or not, just listening to nature. Like, I like fishing at night. I can fish from 7 p.m. to 3 in the morning, just fishing. But I love listening to the crickets, looking at the sky, and just the quiet. Like, there's a friend of mine, we have the same thing. So I'll fish here, and he'll be downstream like 100 meters, and we don't talk to each other for hours. But we're buddies. The only time we might say something is if there's a catch. I might shout to him and, hey, I think my thing has caught, blah, blah, blah. But until then, we're not sharing stories. But we are kind of in the same energies. Yes. And then when I was doing my Akashic Records, I was told, that's why you love water. You're at peace with water. When I did some snorkeling in the coast last year, and I was so, I don't know what it is, I don't know if it's salt water or whatever, I was very much at peace. Loved just watching things moving about and stuff like that. And I'm always drawn to the beach, to rivers, to just water. Like, I can go and sit next to a river. As long as there's a stream where I can hear the sound, it relaxes me like no one's business. So I was told I'm a water spirit.
Interesting. Wow. Any other question? Yes.
Yes.
Have your guides told you about other planetary systems with the names and everything? Like the Sirius, all that?
No, because I've not really asked those, but as I continue doing my sessions, I will. I've just been taking information with small doses, but yes, I do want to know. First, I want to know what star seed I am.
Yeah. You tell me when you find out.
Yes. And you, have you had that?
So I did a past life regression.
Okay.
And I asked that question, and I was like, from which planetary system am I from? And the answer that came to me was actually the image that came to me was that of my guru. So it's like what he said was, you're mine. That's the answer I got. It belonged to me. So from then on, I just let go, because I had done, I think, tests online, and they had shown me I'm from my, don't remember the name right now, but I had taken the test. So I just wanted to confirm in my regression from my higher self. Yeah, and then that happened. So yeah, there's that.
Okay, but it's such fascinating information when things start to align. Like, you're being told things which most people will be afraid of. Or you're thinking, it's been confirmed, but I sensed it or I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you just hear that this has been you, you've just not aligned with your true self, and until now, and I was like, wow, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm turning a new page of now. I wanna, like, I was told that beyond teaching women about their sexuality, I have more to offer humans in terms of even being able to heal them. So right now I'm on a journey of seeing how I can be a healer of your body and stuff. Yeah, so that's my next stage.
That is so cool. We'll discuss that after this. But that is so cool, because I've been yearning to ask you, what, other than what you're doing right now, what else is in preparation? Then we talked about the going to the field and calling the. I'd give anything to see an object.
Yes.
So you mentioned a bit about that, and
Yes.
then we can make the call right here and now for the people who will join us for that circle. Yeah. Say a bit about that.
It's a CE5 app that was established by Dr. Greer, who I have followed for a very long time. Dr. Greer had his first contact, I think it was in the 70s. And since then, he's been about contact. But he's also deciphered the fact that there are governments around the world that come up with counter claims. Like, they make aliens look like when they abduct you, they torture you and stuff like that. And that's more of a human element, not an alien element. So he's able to say, like, 90% of the stories out there that are really gruesome, those are by humans. There's a 10% that are just genuine. So the CE5 can be done as a group, and you just play this frequency, and you're just quiet. And one of the things you're asked to do is, don't go there with fear, don't go there with despair, or don't go there with disbelief, because those entities, if they see you're afraid, they won't manifest, because they don't want to freak you out. So there's a number of guys who had certain ailments, and when they met these entities, like, there's one guy who could not hear, and he just asked the entity, can you give me back my hearing? And when he went to sleep, when he woke up, he could hear. Like,
I believe it.
Yeah, and 100%. And then there are those who see a very bright light that goes around their bodies and stuff like that, and whatever ailment you had or any issues you had mentally just vanish.
It's because the frequency is higher.
Yes.
So
yes. So it's something that I'd like to do as a group.
Yes, we shall plan for that. If anyone wants to join us.
Yes, please. And even if you want me to give you contacts to the person I've been having sessions with, definitely, because they're clients of mine. When I tell them the story, they're like, please share the number. Like, and that's when I realized there's so many people who would like to discover this other side of them that maybe their religion does not allow them to believe in. And the feedback has been amazing. Like, when somebody tells you, yeah, like, I had my first or second session, and in one of them, I literally wept because everything I was being told was true. And I got to engage with my guides and relatives who I had questions, and the answers were there.
Yeah.
But we're told to believe that once they're gone, that's the end. Like, you'll never get.
There's someone who was saying on Linguki that those mediums, when you go to a medium session,
yeah.
the ancestors that are talking to you
Yeah.
are just entities that have the ability to know stuff about your life and stuff about your past relatives, and they can pretend to be them.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you verify that those entities are your relatives coming through? Can you verify that? Or is it an innate feeling?
For me, first the word verification spells that everything in life needs to be verified. Then if that's the truth, then verify that you prayed to Jesus or Mary or God. Verify that your pastor and your priest are actually linked to a higher being. Verify that.
It's a good point.
No, I mean, let's assume, I'm cuckoos. Show me the way, master. You and your verification word. And you see, in my book, they're the ones who are sent out to debunk us. They're the ones sent out. If anyone should be called devilish, that's them. I'll only respect somebody who says, you know what, that's not my belief system. And I'm also not going to take it away from you. But when you start throwing things like, oh, there are these entities. First and foremost, I need you to verify that you've been in communication with these entities who know everything about my ancestry, who have come to lie. So, considering you know them so well, you just call them, summon them. I want that entity to appear and say, Matheka, funny enough, yeah, they were right, it's us. Ooh, here we are. I want that verified. If you have the audacity to say that what we believe in is based on entities that are basically mimicking our ancestors, and if they are, my God, don't you think they should get an Oscar? Because I'm getting information that only I would know and my relative would know. It's not general. It's not general. It's very hard for somebody in the 90s to come in, for it to be confirmed this year that the same storyline that I know of, because first, you're not, this is not somebody you're giving information.
Yeah.
You're not telling them, I used to have this relative, this was their name, blah, 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 blah. Contact them and tell them if they ask them if they're good. No, they're literally telling you that I know you came here with questions and we'll answer those questions. One is, yes, she says it was her. When you saw her when you're in the room, there are certain details I only know. You've been questioning yourself. You've been wondering, and for so long. And there are other little things you're like, no one knows that but me. I've never shared it with my brother or my dad when he was alive, or any of my cousins, or just people I'd share with. I've told nobody. But you knew that. And even the way you're answering things, it's only somebody who is connecting with entities that know me and how I've been thinking. And it's not how I was thinking even years ago. Something I've been thinking about recently, you wouldn't know. But you've just given me the answer.
The Bible says that we should not consult mediums.
Yeah, but who wrote? There's something I should disclose. I was thrown out of CRE class for asking questions that my teacher did not like. And it went along the lines of the CRE, which is Christianity, blah, blah, blah. And then we had another class where we were talking about evolution, the dinosaurs, and stuff like that. And as a boy who was told by my dad, never be sheep. And my dad was, he went to church. He was a Catholic. But he said, don't be sheep, don't just follow, question stuff. So in school, I'll question. And I just told my CRE teacher, you and the other teacher need to hook up and decide which one of you is telling us lies. Or and, based on my opinion, the other teacher can prove you have none. And we're talking about this is early 90s, late 80s. I asked a simple question.
Will you remember the question?
Yes. How come during Jesus' time He was mentioned in the Bible, but there were historians who never mentioned him. Considering he's a guy who can walk on water, don't you think somebody who's an historian will be writing about it? And I researched enough to know that there were historians at that time, but they never wrote about Jesus.
Okay.
And prove all these stories. Prove them. Oh, no, you need to be, no, I refuse. There's something more to this. And then now you break down the fact that the word Jesus has been used for many millennia. His story is not new. It's not 2,000 years old. It's far older than that. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With each civilization, there's been a story that's very similar. And to be honest, I don't believe the Bible is false. I just believe Scripture was tweaked to adjust to controlling people. For example, why did they remove the book of Enoch from the Bible? It was there. Why? Because the book of Enoch proves one thing, that us as beings were created by other beings.
Oh.
The Anunnaki. It proves that we engaged with entities from other worlds.
Well, the Bible calls them the fallen angels that procreated with the women and the gods, Nephilims or something.
Yeah, but the Anunnaki designed us. We were designed to be slaves, but the Anunnaki did procreate with us, and that's why they created a hybrid human, which today, depending on where you are around the world, you can still see. From body size to even our eyes, people who have certain abilities that others do not have. That's all based on the fact that we've coexisted with many planetary beings. There are those who, Dr. Gray believes there are more, but there are those who say at least there are around 17 different beings that live on this planet. And some of them have lived here longer than us. The only thing is, because we're on a lower frequency, we can't see them, but they can see us. Yes, if you look at, for example, the what are they called? The family of lizards. Reptilians. They exist. And there have been many stories of humans who have interacted with them, but the reptilians would always say, even if you told the story, no one will believe you. You know, that's the one thing that other entities rely on. Even if you saw us, if you just sat down and had a conversation with us, telling your own humans this story, for you it's useless. You'd be called crazy. Even if you took a picture of us, which would not allow you to do anyway, and we have a way of making sure we don't even appear on that picture, you'd not be believed. It would be doctored picture. So regardless, but you see, in the same breath, I'm asking the ones who are non-believers, but how come you believe in something else? Why am I not in a position to say, then I don't believe, if you don't believe me, I don't believe you. I've asked enough Christians, if somebody walked into your church, and you see them all the time in church, they're a person of faith, and they said, something very odd happened last night. Jesus came and sat on my couch, and we spoke for like 2 hours. What would you say? What would they say?
It's the devil shape-shifting into Jesus.
So at what point, considering something that I was told that Jesus is coming back. But we were not told where.
No,
or how.
He'll come where everyone will witness.
Yes, but the point is, considering he's almighty, doesn't he have the right to go away once? Doesn't he have the right to talk to some humans before he ever reveals to all of us?
Like he did after he rose from the dead, yeah.
But most religious people will debunk anyone who is religious enough to say that I met Mary, I met Jesus. Or I was sat with the disciples. They decided to come to my place and we had dinner. First, the fact that you're having dinner with them We'll be like, hey, whatever you're smoking, please don't smoke here again. So my point is, why do you have a belief system that you don't actually believe? I'm not a Christian follower, but if somebody came and told me I had a long conversation with God last night, I would not dismiss them. I wasn't there. I wasn't in the conversation. I don't know how it manifested. What would intrigue me is, what did it feel like? What did you discuss?
True.
Rather than being of the mentality of, oh, this is rubbish. What if you were the one person who's actually telling the truth? Clearly you can see that I talk of planetary beings, but I cannot believe that you had a word with God.
Yeah, I see the point.
How does that work?
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, all of us can sense this higher being, can sense the universe. We just look at it, one with a very limited scope and one with a larger scope. I believe our scope is larger. Our scope is about the true reality of we are ourselves mini-gods because we are a power source. We're infinite. We're energy. Then you have the never-ending universe. And then my other question is, we're in a planet, yet we don't believe in spaceships. Yet a planet is a spaceship because it's in space. To other planetary systems, the Earth looks this small, correct? The spaceships we'll see in the sky are that small, correct?
Yeah.
So aren't we also in a spaceship? Right now, all of us, believers and unbelievers, we're literally on a spaceship called Earth. It's just shaped round. We know that Earth is floating in space. And then the audacity to think that with all the planetary systems and galaxies, we're the only Earth that has beings called human beings. How delusional do you, like, it's not even delusion. You must be the God that you don't want me to be. Like, I need to be bowing to you because you have the audacity and selfishness to think we're the only ones. Do you know how self-centered you have to be? It's like me telling everyone, I am the best man in the world. You'll never find a man like me. Wow. Wow. So all the other men are what? Wusses? Cats? Really? That's how I see it. Everyone who tells me, no, if you don't align to this, wow, your audacity is, we need to be bowing to you. Because you have no threshold of just saying, what if I'm wrong? What if we're both thinking of the same thing, we just look at it in a different way?
True.
If we can live in that world, I'm accepting. But I'm not going to live in a world where I believe in something, but I'm going to trash somebody else's belief system. And guess who's trashing whose belief system? It's the ones who do not believe that there's something higher, that are tainted with their limited way of thinking.
I mean, I feel like the ones, they believe there's something higher, it's just that their higher is different from another person's higher.
Yes, but they're also afraid, they're afraid to realize that the higher is real. And the word afraid is there purposely because they've been taught to be afraid.
It's very fear-mongering. It's a lot of fear-mongering. It's a lot of fear. Yeah. A lot.
Yeah, because I could not believe the stories of when we were kids. I'd be told, like, if you don't sleep early, you'll be punished. If you don't do this, you'll be punished. I'm thinking, no. God can't be
that mean.
That mean. There's something's wrong. And as you go up, you realize, wow, those who believe they'll never receive anything don't receive anything.
It's that simple.
Those who ask for stuff and they don't question where it's coming from, receive. It's as simple as that.
It's a mindset shift.
But I want people, whether you believe or not, start thinking beyond your limited way of thinking. Stop putting stress on yourself because you believe you're not better than you really are, because you are. Most people have amazing gifts, but they're trapped in, this would not happen to me. The other day I asked somebody, because you think that way, why do you watch sports? And all the sports you watch, they make people rich. So aren't you just watching devils play whatever it is, basketball, football, Formula One? Are all Formula One drivers devils? So let's snap out of that mentality.
Yeah.
Because personally, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to make sure that humans know you have a choice. You can start thinking differently. And there's nothing wrong with that. Start manifesting things you really want. Stop thinking that you are in a job that will never get you anywhere. It's you who's not getting yourself anywhere. You're worth more than that job you hate. You're worth more than the situation you think you're in, because all you need to tell yourself is, next week I'm going to have a fantastic week, and the universe is going to make sure. And my guides, you guys make sure next week is amazing. Don't question it. You'll see next week start looking, it starts small and you'll be like, wow. And then you start getting courageous with how you start demanding. And that's another thing. Apparently, when you demand for things, you're being rude. The universe aligns to your demands. And it's not, demands is not the way we interpret it. The universe wants to hear, what is it you want to say?
Yeah.
Shout, I would like riches.
Like a mother.
And believe, yes.
Yeah.
And the universe is like, you know what? You believe in those riches, so you're going to get them. And riches sometimes is not you're getting a Ferrari. You might move into the house you never thought you'd move in. Because I've heard people say, I started crying when I realized that I asked for this house 15 years ago. I didn't even realize when I got, it's now that hit me, that I literally asked for this house. I don't know how things worked out for me to get money, and that's the other thing. We look at money first for the house to happen. Just ask for the house. Everything else aligns. You could be gifted something. Somebody could call you and say, hey, we've got a job for you in Norway. You did not apply for a job in Norway, but somebody somewhere, something aligned, and they were like, we found you, and I think you are the best fit. Wow. Now you're suddenly able to afford the house you thought you'd never afford. Why? Because you didn't question it.
True. I think I would speak for, we've spoken for so long.
I know, we could speak for hours, but
yes.
It's been amazing. We'll do this again, definitely.
Yes, I'd love
And we
to
have to
be
associate
back.
with more people who think like us.
Yes.
And also help those who feel there's something not aligning for them and get them into our society.
Yay.
Yeah.
Start our own congregation.
Fantastic. This has been fun.
Yeah, thank you for joining, and we hope to see you in the I really want to do that circle.
Yes, in that circle. We need let's do that circle.
Let's do
we
that
have
circle.
to.
That's where we are all meeting after this, after you watch this and subscribe. And until next time, goodbye.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Take care, guys.